past you've both been very vocal about a sequel for Teen Wolf because you basically Beetlejuiced it. So I was curious to know, how did this happen?
From our side, we just get a phone call that says to show up when and where. But we were excited because I feel like it was a bit of a Veronica Mars reunion and that the fans really brought it back through social media. And when we got the call about the movie, it was just, we couldn't believe the time machine was real.
It's lovely.
Yeah, I feel like it was a no-brainer. I mean, like Holland said, you get the call and it's a yes or a no, and it was a lot of yeses. And yeah, I feel like Teen Wolf never really went away. Like, it felt alive this whole time. So it just made sense that we did an actual movie, and I think the fans are so pumped, and we had a blast doing it.
Absolutely. Now, what I find incredibly curious about Teen Wolf is, as time goes on, it gains new generations of fans. It's like they never really...
They're getting younger. I'm like, aren't you guys supposed to be getting older? What's happening?
We don't get older, so they shouldn't get older.
Yeah, right?
Doesn't work like that, right?
Isn't that how that works?
But why do you think this show is so immortal in a way, and how did it defeat time?
The first thing that popped into my head was Jeff Davis. I feel like he is really responsible for the he just, I don't know, he just created something that is so relatable, and especially to people who feel like they're on the outside. And that's something that I loved hearing Jeff talk about. Like, he never really did like a prom, dance, like the things that make us anxious, remembering from high school that can, sometimes cause anxiety. He didn't really do that stuff. He kind of skipped over that, and I think it made people who feel, again, like they're on the outside just feel safe. And yeah, he just has an odd mind, and so do the fans, and so do we, and it's just a perfect little
combination.
Yeah,
like Shelley said, it's a timeless story. Yes, it's about werewolves, but that's really symbolism for a coming of age story. And even on the show, we had the next generation with Dylan Sprayberry and Kylan Rambo come in, and so it's that story is going to keep being told over and over as people grow up. That doesn't expire, and so I do think that's like why each new generation that comes in, they do keep getting younger and younger, is because it's going to, like Shelley said, consistently be relatable. And Jeff does such a great job at telling that coming of age, little engine that could story.
That's wonderful. Now, what was your first day on set like? How did it feel to have most of the gang back together?
It doesn't feel like a day passed. It's it's a time machine.
We all reverted back to our person, it feels like nobody changed. We did, but we were still the same.
It feels like the set didn't change, but
did
it?
Yeah. It was surreal. I think a lot of us just kept being like, has this happened? Are we actually here right now?
Is this a simulation?
Yeah, it felt like a crazy brain fog, and it wasn't COVID. It took a minute to realize we are here and we're doing this.
Long haul Teen Wolf symptoms.
Yeah.
Hardcore. Yes. Yeah, the first day was like definitely pinch me moment, but then it just seamlessly feels like you didn't leave by day 2. But my first day was with Colton Haynes, and it was hard to get through a take because we kept laughing. But yeah, it was fun. It's really amazing. It's just, we're like, our minds are blown that, I literally think of it as a time machine.
Yeah. And we started filming in LA.
Right.
So that feels like a whole separate movie than the one that we did in Atlanta. And then we went to Atlanta. We all lived in the same hotel, most of us, and so then there was that storyline of us at that hotel.
There's the behind the
with
scenes
each other. So there's the behind
movie.
the scenes of the movie, which
filming
is
of Teen Wolf.
hilarious. Would that be a word? Fun.
It's like
Holland
summer
and I,
camp.
we got to go out.
Yeah.
When we lived in LA, it's like you have your own lives, and
Yeah.
but we're in Atlanta, and so we went out, we danced, we had a good time, but as far as like the first day on set, I was running in the halls with Tyler Posey.
Just like old times.
I mean, it was like the best way to get back into it. It just felt, it was a safe space.
It's lovely.
It's a very
hallway,
safe space.
yeah.
All of Teen Wolf is a safe space.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Now, when we find again Malia and Lydia, where do we find them at the beginning of the movie?
Some time has passed, but Lydia, being the genius that she is, does go go into a field that is obviously on the cutting edge. We have so many spoilers. Usually they just say, have fun in your interviews. This time they gave us a very specific briefing of all the things we cannot say.
I'm glad you just told me that.
I'm kidding.
It's okay. It's all embargoed, so you can go crazy.
Life imitates art.
Oh, we can? We can do
Yeah,
spoilers?
but, we won't be publishing any of it
Okay.
until the movie's released. So.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
it's been 15 years, and so we sort of got to speed up to our actual real life age versus the show. And so, yeah, it's all of us as adults, and who moved away from Beacon Hills, who stayed, and what happened, stuff
Yeah.
that brings back the movie.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, I'm curious as to know, do you think that the movie is going to expand the lore and the mythology from the TV show? And would you say there's some more room for, say, a sequel or more spin-offs?
I definitely think that could be possible. I think
There's Wolfpack.
yes, there's a spin-off of the show, but as far as more Teen Wolf movies, I think
I think it
anything's
leaves it
possible.
open to that.
Yeah.
It definitely leaves it open to that.
And would you be interested in reprising your roles for
Not for
possible
the second, no. Yeah.
Just the third one.
Keep it going. I love, like Shelley was saying, like Teen Wolf's just home for us. So I would be honored.
Maybe not Atlanta. I feel like I
You're
really
over
saw
Atlanta?
Atlanta. Well, no, I loved it. I had too much fun in Atlanta. Just thinking maybe like New York or the Bahamas. I don't know.
There you
We've
go.
always said Teen Wolf should go to France.
That's
Your
lovely.
era.
You had
I
the-
should have said
Italy.
There you go.
How come Italy? Yes.
I think Malia would definitely end up in Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
Florence, something like that.
Yeah.
Under the Tuscan sun.
Yeah. So
And-
it just depends on the location.
Of course. Yeah, and the budget, clearly.
Yes.
Now, what were the challenges of shooting during COVID? Because, I mean, you went in production just as I think the third wave was going up.
It definitely affected the last couple weeks of filming. We got pretty lucky, though. I would say the majority of the time.
A lot of us got it.
At the very end,
I got it.
It snagged a few of us, and
I'm sorry.
somehow Keanu Reeves though. I haven't gotten it, but we'll see if I get through this week.
Yeah.
Without it. I think reshoots with a lot of movies are a bit beefier than and pickups than usual because of that, and we're no exceptions. So we've got one more scene we still have to film.
I have a couple of
A couple
scenes
scenes.
because I got extremely sick
Yeah,
with COVID at the end, but I kept testing negative. Yeah, it's till a few days later.
Yeah, it's weird.
Anyway, but with Ryan Kelly, we weren't able to do our big love scene, so that
That's a big spoiler.
yeah. He said I could.
You can, no worries.
I'll call it a sex scene. I don't know if it was a love scene. I think Malia's trying to figure out if that's something she can do again.
That's beautiful. Beautifully
Yeah.
said. Well, and it's going to be in the sequel maybe, so
Yeah.
who knows?
There you go.
So there's a few notable faces missing from the movie, notably Dylan O'Brien and Arden Cho. I was curious to know if you had any comment on the controversy surrounding her decision to not be a part of the movie, because I mean she must have been very missed by you guys.
That's what I was gonna say. They were both so missed. It's not the same without everyone there.
Yeah,
That's
it's definitely
what I have to
missing,
say.
I think. Yeah.
There was a hole.
Oh, and are their absence, will it be addressed in the movie?
Ooh, trying to remember.
Some of it is.
Some of it is.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. Now, like you said, the whole werewolf is an allegory for feeling outcast, for not feeling like you belong in your teenage years. How does it translate to you as you, of course, embrace your older adult selves in the movie? How does a coming of age become a more adult coming of age? So
I
that's
think
my question.
it's just the natural progression of life, and that the scale of problems that we're dealing with in the movie are exponentially bigger than what we were dealing with on Beacon Hills on a daily basis back in good old high school. And so there's also just a maturity, I think, to the characters that naturally would be there in their 30s. And that was a lot more relatable for me, just being an adult and not having to pretend you're 18 when you're 30. So I think Jeff did us all a solid in letting us exhale a little bit.
Right, of course.
I went with, I chose something a little different for Malia. And I say chose, but I think I was inspired, obviously, by what Jeff had written for Malia. And I played her a lot more anxious and more confused as opposed to when she was a teenager, because I think she asked less questions when she was younger, and she just wanted to eat deer and have sex with
there you go.
you know, the Scott or Styles, whoever she was with at the time. But I think for her at this point, she's really confused about what she wants, and so I played a lot of anxiety in Malia, which was really fun.